I didn't think I was going to put a Fire Emblem character on this list, to be honest. I mean, I like a good amount of them, to be sure, but it's genuinely hard for these characters to stand out to me, you know? You're constantly just shifting armies, getting and losing characters. It's a bit hard to feel attached. I like a lot of them, but at the end of the day, they were mostly just units. Even in Awakening, one of my favorite games ever, I never felt too attached to this party. And then came Three Houses, which in my opinion does the best in the series for making you feel attached to your troop. They really feel like an RPG party that you grow to learn, love, and care about. And this didn't hit me harder than with a certain soft boy. I knew going in that I was probably going to pick Blue Lions. Sorry, they're just my squad, and I'd only consider switching if I really didn't like their members during the introduction segment. Turns out they were all amazing and really cool for what I wanted in this experience. And then came Ash, the sweet boy with a heart of gold, a slight smile, and a hint of an Irish accent, and regardless, he only got better. Turns out that he was innately one of the best thieves in the game. He has the personal ability Lockpick, and he grows up to be a... Oh, hello. Shit, I picked a guy. Is he gay? Fuck! Not to mention one of the more intriguing backstories in the game, as this remorseful thief who wants to better themselves growing up after being forced to steal to survive, with hints of tragedy here and there. Kind of checking off the boxes for me, ain't he? Anyway, I love Ash, and you should too. Yeah! To me, long-term single-player RPGs are only ever as strong as their party, and for me, one of the strongest I've ever had the pleasure of playing through was in the original Xenoblade Chronicles. All 7 party members are incredible in their own right. Each feels unique and fun to play, and the game does a good job highlighting their strengths. I could gush about the glorious web that this party weaves and how it drives the story of Xenoblade, but I'm only here to talk about one of these guys. Going into the first time I experienced Xenoblade way back when, I knew this blonde dude Shulk was the main character, but I was still so intrigued by this prologue. A gorgeous, strong-willed hero with this elegant light blade, striving into battle until his last breath to defend his home. Awesome setup, seeing the past generation fight a key battle in a war that the current gen will try to end. Except that's not exactly how it goes. Only a year has passed, and that hero, Dunban, is alive, albeit still in recovery. Regardless, I still thought he just oozed cool from his persona. Then when Ryan and Shulk, who you've gotten to know and care about, start off their adventure, then leave town and you see Dunban mutter those awesome words.
As soon as this heals, I'll be right behind you. And then we will seize our destiny.
Now, maybe when I first saw this, I was still naive and unused to JRPG tropes, but up until then, and the few hours after, I thought for sure that Dunban would be this recurring character, to be this mentor figure, wise but friendly, and advising the party along the way. You should have seen my jaw drop just a few hours later when the battle post-Ether Mine and Dunban, now recovered enough to fight with only one good arm, comes in to fight by your side. And now, he's a permanent member of your party! Him! Dunban, this incredible warrior who seemed leagues above me. I can fight by his side? Or better yet, play as him? I was ecstatic and only got better from there. He's incredibly fun to play, a great mix of a unique mechanic with Gale Slash follow-ups, aura and status afflictions, and Blossom Dance might just be the coolest attack in the game. Is he the most plot significant? No, probably not even in the top 5 by the end of the game, but there was no one else I wanted on my side during this adventure more than Dunban the Homs from Colony 9. Hey, y'all remember wacky pizza guy Dante? Sword-slinging badass from that insanely fun and addictive Devil May Cry series? Yeah, I love that guy, but is he on this list? No. Who is, though? Yeah, hear me out, okay? Dante, cool and fun as he is, there isn't a lot to him. You can sum up everything about Dante in like 2 sentences, and that's not a bad thing, especially given his role and premise. But for me, that doesn't quite cut it for this list. Then there's Nero, who might be my favorite character to play as in the entire series, at least his DMC5 iteration. Yes, he is not as deep or intricate compared to Dante, but again, to me that's not really a bad thing. I'm not the most combo-mad DMC player, and every now and then I can take a break from playing a 10 out of 10 character on the complex scale and go to like a 7-ish. I still use everything Dante can dish out, and he's not overwhelming, but Nero has the streamlined, easy to pick up with a lot under the surface vibe to his combat. There's also a demon arm, dual-shot revolver, and an engine on his sword hilt. And I mean, yeah, it's dumb, but have you seen this series? Dumb really just means, who cares, it's sick as hell, and I love the Red Queen because of it. Now, of course, the biggest selling point for me in Nero is that he feels like the most real person in the series. I don't mean real in that he's a normal, powerless human, God no. But unlike most of the rest of the cast, he has a story to tell. He has flaws and complications, but goes on an actual developmental journey across 2 whole games to get some resolution. Oof, and what a satisfying payoff it is. Following this punk with a heart through 2 games trying to pull off being a successor to Dante on an incredible journey, only to come in and deliver one of the most satisfying final acts I've ever seen. And yeah, now I know what this series was missing. An awesome character arc to glue together my favorite hack and slash game of all time. You done good, kid. You done good. Okay, I guess it's time for another Smash character. Now, I know a lot of people who follow me are familiar as the dumb ledge-trapping Belmont in Ultimate, but let's take a step back. Unlike Richter's origin game, I played Ocarina of Time, and loved it, with one of my favorite characters being the enigmatic ninja Sheik. I mean, a cool but elegant harp ninja? Sign me up. Now, before even that, I played a ton of Brawl, and Sheik had already stepped in as being one of the absolutely coolest dudes I'd ever seen in a video game. My 12-year-old head broke seeing Sheik for the first time. She was very cool. But in-game, she was a bit slow and sluggish, definitely got a pocket Sheik, but she wasn't my main in Brawl. Then I tried grinding some Melee, and this streamlined, quick-footed ninja from my favorite series instantly became my main. Then came Smash 4, where I finally started to enter the scene competitively, and I had to stick to my girl once I realized how fun, and kind of broken, she was. But hey, I stuck by her throughout the game's whole lifespan. Smash 4 Sheik is still one of the most fun characters I've ever played in a fighting game, and that combined with her aesthetic and my nostalgia, well, of course she's this high. Alright, you son of a bitch, get in here. God, I love Junpei, but for now. When it comes to the Zero Escape franchise as a whole, who's like the overarching protagonist? Akane? Sigma? Or Phi? Maybe the idea of Zero. I might agree with that last one actually, but if I had to pick a character that in every game serves as a good representation of the world around them, a straight man in this world of chaos, I'd have to pick Junpei. In the first game, he is the definitive protagonist. You play the game from his perspective. He is you, and serves as a great self-insert. He's not too cardboard, he's got a witty but collected personality, and still freaks out whenever he should, given the situation he's in. But all in all, he's a great person to be in control of in my favorite visual novel. I won't spoil his role in the second game, but let's just say while he isn't the protagonist, he continues the trend of being a good window in the current world, and a sensible person concerned with current logistics, which is interesting given the mystery behind said world. And finally we have Zero Time Dilemma, where Junpei returns in a similar fashion to the first game, but now he's not the protagonist. Still a main character though. Now, he is no longer a self-insert, but still a great window into this era of the Zero Escape universe. A post-999 world, a world with Akane on the run and Junpei looking for answers. Junpei has become a bit apathetic, very snarky, and incredibly enjoyable. His interactions with Carlos and Akane make them my favorite team in ZTD, and I can't get over the twists and turns they go through. Maybe it's because he feels like the most real in the cast. I love all these games to death and all of their characters, but they all seem to either try a bit too hard to be believable or not hard enough. With the exception of Junpei, not only is he believable and a bit relatable through all of the twists and turns, with which there are many for him, but his arcs are also the most engaging to me. I wanted to know what was happening for him the entire series, and whenever he did show up, he always brought a smile on my face. And I guess that means a lot in a game of escape rooms and death traps. Time for my villain gushing block. For those who are unaware, I have a soft spot for the flamboyant and hammy villains, and a lot of media to be sure. Was Ghirahim the beginning of that? Well, actually come to think of it, maybe. I grew up not liking villains simply because, they were the bad guys, and I wanted to see them get taken down. Then I played Skyward Sword, and I was like 14 or 15ish, and let me tell you, Ghirahim over here changed all of that. I realized how fun a villain on screen could be. Yeah, I wanted to kick his ass, but not before giving me some boast or JoJo pose to flex on me beforehand. It was fun, it was over the top, and smug as all hell, and I ate it all up. His mocking of Link early on to getting cut down to size, but all the while never losing a bit of the ruthlessness and gawky style that made him so entertaining to begin with. I think he kickstarted this trend where I started gravitating myself towards fun, smug characters, especially if they were villains. Besides that, I think all of his designs are cool, from his original wild pale and diamond-esque garb to his evil Master Sword design, and his reveal to essentially being a dark version of Fi was a nice touch. Not to mention his theme and his final fight in the game is one of my favorites in the series. He set a lot of precedents for me, and I'm always one to appreciate that. I'll always love Ghirahim wherever they decide to put him in next, and I'm glad he exposed me to just how much fun a good villain can be. Alright, let's talk about Overwatch. Now, while it's almost entirely a part of my life that has exited the building, I was extremely into this game when it first dropped. Releasing in late May of 2016, it gave me essentially the entire summer to do almost nothing but grind this game out with my friends. And while the magic of the game isn't nearly as strong now, back then those few months were some of the best online gaming experiences I've had, period. Which may be why even now I still hold my main for the game in such a high regard. Which, I mean, come on, it's my girl. I started playing D.Va as early as the open beta for Overwatch, and she's been my main ever since. I'm normally not a tank fan either, but something about the movement, her fusion cannon fire rate, her ult, and maybe the nature of Overwatch's team composition-based gameplay that made me really resonate with her. Not to mention when her tank runs out of health, she'll eject and instantly become a squishy DPS with a small blaster with a surprising amount of damage and range, and with enough resistance she can eventually build up enough meter to bring her mecha back. This tank and DPS swapping style was something I instantly fell in love with, and over time felt incredibly natural, and became my favorite way to play the game as a result. Not only that, but it was extremely common for a team to need a tank, so I got a lot of playtime with her. Then there's her personality, which I instantly fell in love with as well, a bit cocky but righteous and humbling when she needs to be. All on display in her superb animated short, which, by the way, was released on my birthday. Cute, quotable, and, for me at least, insanely fun, she remains the best part of some of my fondest memories in gaming.